Welcome back to Stargate TWIG, otherwise known as Tactical Weapons Integration Group, right here on ThisWeekInGeek.net. I'm your Gate Master, Mike the Birdman, but I'm not alone as I travel to JP-23 on an adventure to recover some missing materials, some scientists, and what should have been a milk run has decidedly turned into not that. But I'm joined from the city of Kitchener by our very own Una scientist and lover of all things bizarre,
Alex playing Dr. Bob.
and of course, the leader of Stargate TWIG is coming from the land of New Jersey and also another planet.
It's Ken Reels playing Saul, and not very happy that he is playing Peacemaker again.
And of course, finally rounding out the TWIG crew is the heart and soul of the group, who never seems to have the proper luck when it counts, but for some reason, the blood work came back okay.
JT from Saskatoon playing Lieutenant Carter Hall, feeling very called out by Ken's last statement.
All right, guys. So when we last had left our adventurers, you were in the room. We had Corporal Hendricks was pointing her pistol around. Matthews was pointing his pistol around. The scientists were on edge. The SG teams are on edge. People are dying. There are spore zombies outside, and the power went out. So we've returned to you in the moment the power goes out. So the power goes out. Even the computer screens around the room go out. It's pitch black, and you start hearing something scraping on the metal. You hear explosive gases come out. You can't see anything. The room starts lighting up with automatic weapons fire and pistol fire. Just bang, 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 bang. And everything is going nuts. Everybody roll me a D20 to hit the deck. Unless you want to stand and shoot.
That's an 18.
All right.
That is 15.
All right.
Same.
All right. So our three Stargate TWIG members all hit the deck, and you see everybody firing their P90s or their pistols, and it's just lit up as you see like fire flashing from the weapons. You see this giant, clear, kind of pinkish, only way I can describe it is like the blob, quite literally, spurts out of a vent, grabs a hold of the Alturan diplomat, or the person you brought through as kind of your interpreter. She gets sucked into a vent screaming. Onaran tries to grab her, even though he's very clearly out of it. The thing lashes out a tentacle, sucks him into the vent as well. Screaming, you can hear gunfire from inside the vent, and nothing. Eventually, after a few seconds, everybody's clips are empty. You can hear Matthew screaming, "What the hell happened?" You hear Hendricks just screaming, the other scientists. You don't hear anything. The red emergency lights come up. The room starts to have its power restored. And in the room, you see the bullet-riddled bodies of Dr. Banks, the scientist you knew as Kelly, one of the other scientists who was the Asian man. He's nursing a bullet wound in his arm. And the other scientist, there were 5 scientists. Mm-hmm. The only one left is the Asian man. And you have Matthews and you have Hendricks left. There's just the 4 of you left now.
Bob.
Dr. Banks is slumped over his computer.
Bob, take care of the doctor.
I'm just surprised that I wasn't hit, considering how big I am. like Dr. Bob stands up, looks left, looks right, starts doing the whole, spectacles, testicles, wallet, and watch thing. And is like, anybody else hit?
Carter checks himself, and he's like, no extra holes.
It's just, what the hell happened?
Saul's just kind of like just rolling with it, par for the course, and just like, Bob, tend to the doctor. Secondly, didn't I tell you guys not to shoot?
Matthews just looks panicked, and he's just kind of taking it all in as like 2 members of his team are now gone. So Fireteam Paladin is literally just down to 2 members from 4.
Mm-hmm.
Hendrix doesn't look good. She looks pale as a ghost.
Carter's going to walk up to Hendrix and just very gently remove this, like take her pistol out of her hand.
All right, you take the empty pistol out of her hand.
Smart.
Which doctor am I supposed to be checking on? Because there's a lot of bodies in here.
The one with the one that's still alive, Bob.
The
one
one
that
with the
looks
bullet holes.
vaguely like
There are
Ruby
many
West.
with holes.
Yeah, the one that's still alive and nursing his arm.
The Asian man.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna walk over and see if I can administer some first aid.
Okay, so you walk up to the doctor. You look at his name tag. It says Dr. Hugh, so H-U. Best way to describe this guy, he looks kind of like B.D. Wong in his early 20s. Like, he looks like one of those like super kind of whiz kids.
Jurassic Park BD Wong.
Yes. So he is just nursing what looks to be like a pistol round in the arm. It didn't hit anything vital, but you might have to pry the bullet out of the wound probably. So, Dr. Bob, if you could roll me your first aid, let's see how much this hurts.
I'm not gonna lie, it's going to hurt.
He's not a horse, Bob.
Wait, let me see if I can boost this up at all with my stats. 1 second.
Also, while Bob's doing that, Carter...
Would this be under medicine?
I would think so, yes.
Yeah. Carter's
Right,
just
then I
going
got
to
an
keep
8
his
total.
weapon trained on that air vent.
All right, so as Dr. Bob attempts to give first aid...
By using his fingers to reach in and pull it out.
Well, you managed to get the wound out. Dr. Hugh is screaming from the pain.
Oh, big baby, stop crying.
So as you extract the bullet, he passes out from the pain, only because you rolled an 8.
And then Dr. Bob turns to the rest of them, and there, I didn't have to use any anesthetic to subdue him.
And no
All right.
duct tape either.
So now it is just
who's next? Who needs patching up next? And he looks around the room.
Hendrix doesn't look too good.
I assume everybody is just like, no, I'm good.
At least me and Carter are, but like I don't know about Hendrix and the other.
Who else has holes that need attending?
So as you look around the room's emergency lights finally start to power up to fully operational status. So as you look around, you can see Dr. Cedric Banks is very clearly dead. I'm pretty sure Matthews unloaded his P90 into him.
Yeah, I'm gonna check Banks' body for anything significant.
Just a metagame. Has anybody taken away the P90?
Oh no,
Yes, Carter did.
No,
Carter
I took
immediately took
Hendrix'
P90
pistol,
away.
but I think when he notices that Matthew still has the P90, he goes over. What's Matthew's rank again, Mike?
He is sergeant.
He walks over. Sergeant?
So you outrank him.
Yeah, Sergeant, surrender your weapon.
He drops it to the floor, and he just kind of falls back against the wall, kind of in a mix of like shock and
and I just murdered my friends.
Yeah, and I just murdered maybe my only way out of here.
And when he drops it, Carter, he doesn't kick it away, but he does that kind of smooth, slides it away. Well, he doesn't point his weapon at him, but he's keeping an eye on Matthews.
Okay.
It's the, hey, stop being such a jerk. That's kind of you were kind of rude there. Stop doing that kind of look.
All right. So Saul, you go over to Cedric's body. He has taken more than half a clip, you would wager, to the chest. His chest cavity's completely exploded.
Yeah, he's super dead.
If you want to roll me a perception.
Roll me a how dead is he? He's basically cut in half with bullets.
OCP boardroom.
That is
dead?
an 18.
As you look over the doctor's body, you're searching his pants pockets and his lab coat. You do find the keys to one of the vehicles outside. You're not sure which one, but you did find a set of keys. You've also found a set of key cards on a key ring. There's a red, green, and yellow key card. One is marked Lab 1, Lab 2, Lab 3, and there's a black key card marked Containment. So you find 4 key cards grand total.
Well,
gee, I wonder what lab we're going to go to first.
Also, we're still waiting on the cure for my blood to be synthesized, right?
Yes. So the scientist you were with before, Kelly, unfortunately, she was hit by the gunfire, but she did say...
I thought she wasn't in the room. She was in a completely different lab.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, she was in a completely different lab.
Yeah,
we
were supposed to go basically
locked up.
Oh, that's right. You left her there to work on it.
On it while we were going to go distract the other team.
That's right. You are correct. So she is in the other lab. Whether she heard the commotion, you don't know. Likely, but you also don't know.
Yeah, we probably should go check on her and make sure she didn't get grabbed by that. Whatever the hell that thing was.
So are we all going to go as a team? Or is it going to be...
Yes, because there is no way we're going alone.
As we're filing it, Carter's going to bring up the rear and he is going to pick up Matthew's P90 because he's played this video game. You don't leave equipment behind.
All right. Are you going to rearm them or you're just going to take...
Oh, no, I've just got it like slung over one of my shoulders and picking up the rear.
Yeah, I'll pick up Dr. Hugh and walk with him. I'll carry him around.
All right, so you gather Matthews and Hendricks and Hugh, and you all start heading towards the lab where Kelly was working on the cure synthesized from Dr. Bob's Unas blood. So you start walking through the narrow hallways, like those narrow metal hallways. You start noticing the temperature is a little colder here than it was previously, which is not unusual considering you're on a jungle planet. This place has amazing air conditioning, but you do notice it is significantly colder than last time.
I'm going to assume that I notice it more than anybody else.
Yes, cold blood. Yes. So you walk into the lab and you come into the entry area where all the equipment's kind of set up, and you see Kelly in the other room. She is still working on something. You notice the door is sealed. Everybody roll me a perception check.
Oh, boy. 4.
11.
6.
All right, I'm going to roll for the other two.
We don't see shit.
Oh, boy.
That is a 11. Who rolled the highest?
I did.
What was
11.
Your number, JT?
11.
You rolled 11. Does Carter wear glasses or anything?
No, he does not.
Okay. Again, when you all walk in, it's unusually cold. You see Kelly, she's in the other lab where the pen is, or the pit, I think I called it. And she seems perfectly fine. She's got her back. She's got the centrifuge is working. There's another machine that has come out of a wall unit that she was able to pull out. You see her working with different colored fluids. There's beakers and stuff like that.
Is there an intercom?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if Saul or Carter should make the contact.
I'm making the contact.
And I'm going to put Hugh down on one of the tables.
Yeah.
Okay.
Carter closes the door.
Yeah. Keep an eye on the vents, Carter.
Sir.
Everything okay, Doctor?
She is slow to turn around because she's very busy, but she goes, "Yes, why?"
You didn't hear anything.
"No, I've been in here working since you left. Did you find anything out from Dr. Banks and the rest of my team?"
So, there's good news and bad news. Which one do you want first?
Yeah, she kind of leans back in her chair. She goes, "Well, this day isn't going to be any better, so you might as well give me the bad news first."
Banks is dead. The good news is also Banks is dead.
She's like, "Oh, well, that complicates things. It's okay." She kind of puts her hand up to her chin and up to her mouth. She's very visibly shaken. She's like, sort of that, like, "Oh fuck, what am I gonna do now?" Look. She's like, "Okay, that's a complication, but we can work past it. Um, okay, okay, um, okay. Well, I have some good news and some bad news too. The good news is we have enough of the cure to run a test. I got enough right now. I can run a very small test sample to see what happens. It will take several more hours for me to synthesize more if this works. However, I was able to find something out while you were all gone. I might have a very unusual way to slow this infection down. So, do you want to slow the infection down? I know this works 100%, but it does not stop it. But it would buy us some time.
Slowing the infection would buy us time to get everyone cured. So I would say we go with the slowing down, right, everyone? And he looks to his team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine. It's sure.
She then goes, "There is only one problem. I've taken whatever is needed to slow it down myself because I thought I had more. And when I tell you what this is, part of you is going to laugh, part of you is going to cry when I tell you. We have to get to the cafeteria."
Of course.
It turns out there's an enzyme in chocolate that slows this down. It's a chemical binder. It's something we never thought of. I was hungry. I had the only chocolate bar that was in my desk and decided to run a sample of my blood work since I'd come in contact with all of you. There was a chance I could have been infected. But whatever it is, it's slowing it down. Like massively slowing it down.
When she says that, Carter, he doesn't say anything, but because he's surveying the room and like clocking the vents and that, but you see him turn around with the purest expression of "the fuck did you just say?" in his face.
She goes, "Yeah, it sounds a little silly. But the only reason I know this is because, well, that was one of the items requested by the soldiers. We were quite literally supposed to get a vending machine next week, and the supplies came through early. They haven't been unpacked yet. But they are in the mess hall. If you can get to the cafeteria, we can buy ourselves some time. The cure should be synthesized in about 3 hours."
All right, I'm going to ask her if she had done anything with the temperature or environmental controls for the facility, because we've noticed the temperature has gone down.
She goes, "Yes. When I noticed that one of the containment things had been breached on one of the experiments that we brought up from the seafloor, that amoeba is extremely sensitive to cold. Decided, well, it couldn't hurt."
So what you mean is you haven't seen it, you just decided to turn it down to be cold everywhere except for where you are.
It's the only room I can control. Each lab has an independent control system. Everything can be controlled from the main lab at the main computer. but only each individual lab can only control itself.
Okay.
So let me get this straight, Doctor. You didn't touch the controls. You only touched the controls in this room.
Yeah, this
correct?
is the only room that I have control over.
Okay. And out of character, just to clarify, we started feeling that in the previous room, or did we start doing that when we walked in?
You started feeling it when you're in the hallway, sort of like when you're in an office building.
I just wanted to double check that.
Yeah.
Carter looks at Kelly. Are there any extra canisters of compressed gas, CO2, Freon, anything like that?
Yeah, there should be stuff in laboratory storage,
like
for
portable,
sure.
like personal sized or like fire extinguishers and stuff like that.
She goes, yeah, each lab comes equipped with a full fire extinguisher system. There's the fire extinguisher ceiling or system in the ceiling. Yeah, the entire lab's equipped with it. Plus, there's biological contaminants and everything that we can activate at a moment's notice, which eliminates most contaminants. As for temperature controlled stuff, yeah, we have tons of the stuff. It's in cold storage, but yeah, we have it.
Okay, and just in general note, which direction is the main lab so we can turn the temperature down to stop. He's gonna let go of the intercom and not tell the doctor about the amoeba because she's safe in there as far as we're concerned. Okay, we need to make sure that we don't run into that amoeba because that amoeba is probably going to kill us. So what we need to do is make sure we need to go to the lab, turn down the temperature to stop this amoeba from attacking everyone else. And then we go to the storage, get the CO2, come back here, and we're all damn prepared. Get the CO2 and get the chocolate, and then come back. That is the game plan, right, guys?
Sounds like a plan, sir.
Yes.
All right.
Game Master's note: the place you just came from was the main lab.
Of course it was.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So, and I'm guessing everything else is in the complete opposite direction.
No, the lab is built essentially like a big circle. So to give you guys an idea, there's the main entranceway that you came in, which was basically a big box, and then there was a hallway, main lab area, and then lab 1 is off to the left, another hallway, lab 2, lab 3 is at the end of that hallway. Containment is at the end of that. Storage is one lab beyond containment in a separate section where you have to go outside to move material in between labs. So there's external doors that lead outside, so you can go to outside to get stuff from storage. So this way, there's no cross contamination between labs.
Mm-hmm. So, and the mess would be.
The mess hall is placed between labs 1 and 2 and is outside, but it does have a protected walkway, but it is not air sealed. But it is a separate building.
All right. So the first thing we're gonna do is go back, turn down the temperature, then we go to the mess so that we can slow this infection down. Come back, make sure everything's good, then we'll go outside and take care of the storage. Seem like a game plan?
As long as we keep our heads about us, sir.
And we are all sticking together because I don't want that amoeba sneaking up on us.
And Carter looks at Hendricks and Matthews. Can you be team players and follow orders?
They both nod their heads, but as Matthew starts to nod his head, he hacks up a giant blood clot.
Ew.
And it stains his armor black. He looks at Saul. I don't feel so good, sir.
I press the button. Doctor, looks like one of my team members is getting pretty deep into his infection. What do you suggest?
She peers against the glass and goes, the woman looks like she's a little bit more worse for wear. I don't know what stage of the infection she's at, but looking at her, she doesn't look too good. Your friend there does look a little bit better, but if he's hacking up a blood clot, maybe he's not manifesting symptoms in the typical way. So you're basically flipping a coin here. I'm going to pass something through the examination slot. So if you want to stand away from the door, please, you're going to hear a pressurized hiss and then something will come out of a slot. Basically, think of the doors at a jail, how you pass something through.
Mm-hmm.
She puts down a what looks like a injector with a hypodermic tip, and it's full of Dr. Bob's blood mixed with kind of a bluish green fluid. So it's this weird ever-changing color. And it's basically about the size of an insulin pen. So she slides that through the container and goes, that's enough for one dose to field test this cure. If you want to try it on one of your compatriots, we can do that. But again, I caution you, there is no guarantee this is going to work.
Which one would you suggest, sir, ma'am? In terms of which one's worse for wear?
I think you should try it on your woman friend there. She looks like she's the furthest along. That would let us know if we can cure this from a more advanced stage. However, testing it on your male friend there would let us know we can catch this early. She looks at you. I'm presuming you're in command. It is your call. This is your unit.
I'm going to give it to Hendricks.
All right. So she slides it through the door. You hear the cycling of pressurized air. The door opens up, and you see the little needle gun on the table. Through the slot.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, I grab it and hand it over to Bob. Bob, we're giving this to Hendricks. I'm going to hold Hendricks in case there's a bad reaction. Just to be safe.
And Carter doesn't say anything, but Carter's going to prepare to restrain Matthews if he tries something funny.
All right. So, Dr. Bob, if you want to roll me medicine, we'll see how well this goes.
Please roll well.
Please roll well.
Roll high. Roll high.
So, okay. Are we all rolling or just...
Nope, just you.
Nope, just you.
You're the medic.
It's not Dr. Carter.
Oh my God, nat 20.
Okay, so...
Woo!
Hallelujah.
Oh my God, okay.
All right, so you grab the injection gun. You look around the lab. You grab some alcohol swabs. You find a good spot on her arm. You inject it. She looks like she's wincing in pain because it burns her, but she's taking it well. A couple seconds pass by. The gun is now completely empty as you push down the plunger at the end of the injection gun. A couple minutes pass. She seems to be taking it well. She does start to have a bit of a reaction, like she starts to shudder and shake, but she starts hacking up clear fluid. After she hacks up that clear fluid, she lets go a violent throw up of what looks like this greenish goop on the floor, and you can immediately see the color return to her face.
Success.
She's like, I feel better. What did you give me?
Hopefully,
Medicine?
What's going to get us out of this situation.
Let's just say you have a little bit of me inside of you now.
She looks very puzzled at that statement, but
Carter's barely holding back a laugh.
She looks at Dr. Bob, she looks at Saul, and she's completely ignoring the chain of command. She goes, am I fit to return to duty?
Probably. If you're thinking straight and you don't feel sick, grab a gun.
Carter looks at Saul, like indicates Hendricks because he still has her pistol. And Matthew's sidearm.
All right, so you rearm them. She reloads her pistol, and she checks that she only has 2 spare mags. So at most, she's packing 30 rounds.
And she had a P90 when we originally entered the lab.
So
right?
each of those, you'd probably get 2 spare mags apiece, plus whatever's in the gun. I think a P90 holds about 50 shots, give or take. I'm not sure right now. So we'll say between everybody, you've got about 130 rounds, probably. It's probably a pretty fair assessment. So you're pretty much fine on ammo. But do bullets do anything against the blob? I couldn't tell you. Kelly says behind the glass, you can see her her eyes kind of light up a little bit, and I'm gonna say all of you notice this isn't gonna even require a roll. You kind of catch her mouthing the words, holy shit, it worked.
Congratulations, Dr. Eve. I think you just created our solution to this problem.
She comes over the intercom. It works. Okay. I've got a proposition for everybody. It's dangerous. You're still going to need to slow down the infections in yourselves while I work on this, but I'm going to offer you an idea. There are 15 soldiers outside that fell to this infection, some of them at various stages of the spores. If you can get them inside, I can aerosolize this and put this in the sprinklers. I might be able to save everybody, depending on how far gone they are. But you'd have to let them inside. Unless you really want to go around restraining everybody one at a time.
Sir,
obviously, I think aerosoling is the better idea.
That is a good point, sir, but I don't recommend we try that until we're prepared with the CO2 canisters.
Exactly.
She goes, do you want me to start work on aerosolizing this? It'll take me about another half hour. But
yes.
Your infections, you will need that chocolate. You will need it now.
Which is our plan anyway.
All right. So she turns around in her chair and begins working, and you see her immediately pull something out of storage that looks like a different kind of canister that would hook into the ceiling.
All right. Hendricks. I'm gonna have you keep an eye on your team member just in case things go south.
She nods her head. She's like, sir, yes, sir. Matthews reloads his P90. He goes, all right, sir, I got one more mag after this. So I got to make these shots count. Do you want us to stay here with the good doctor?
no, everyone's going together. The doctor is secure in her position at the moment. We're going to go ahead and drop the temperature in this entire facility in order to allow us to stop whatever the heck took the rest of your teammates.
As you say that, you can just see that look of remorse. It's almost like he forgot because everything happened so fast. He's like, yeah, their deaths will not go unnoticed. But yeah, we're with you, sir.
All right.
And I'm going to pick up Dr. Hugh. All right, buddy, it's time to go. He's still knocked out.
Yeah, he's... yeah.
Sling him over my shoulder.
Yeah.
We'll have to have a talk. We'll have to talk about this sometime.
All right, so you start carrying Dr. Hugh and you start going back down the hallway that you came into. So you now emerge back into the main lab, and now you're seeing the damage from the firefight for the first time, really. Multiple computer screens, multiple pieces of equipment have been shot up. And you're not sure which computer activates what. You can see, because this would be what, Alex, about 2004, give or take?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, so you are seeing those big wall things that are like servers or supercomputers. Most of those are still working. Like, you do see lights on them, and there's like a bank of like monitors and stuff, but you're not sure what does what. So who here has a skill equivalent to something that would be involving computers?
Let's look through our list quickly.
I would say engineering, most likely.
That's a very good thing you could default
science. To. I don't have any engineering. I have science, and I have not anything else that would...
Yeah.
Although your science and engineering may be applicable later when it comes time to aerosolize this.
Right. Very true. I have a +6 to survival. I am like everybody else could be dying, and I'll be like, what's wrong, everybody? I'm all good.
I can tell you how to live through this.
Like,
follow me.
You're like, everybody's like, oh, aren't you cold because you're cold-blooded? I mean, like, I'm fine. I got a coat. We're good.
Yeah, I want to say...
Does Carter have any good engineering?
He has absolutely no engineering, although, he's got a +3 to deception and a +5.
Can't pretend to know something about a computer.
I was going to say, could we make the argument he might be able to bullshit his way through this?
Well, fuck it. I'm rolling.
This isn't the I have concubator at home. I know what I'm doing. No, I mean...
That is a 17 on engineering.
Okay, so Saul, by looking through the computers, you've been taught enough of the Tari. Basically, they gave you the basic Windows NT classes when you joined Stargate, but you also took a bit of an interest in how certain subsystems work, so you have a very rough idea. So you sit down at a keyboard. I presume your species has the typical 4 fingers and a thumb, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you pull out one of the keyboards and you start throwing commands at basically the command shell of this thing. And after a couple minutes, you start exploring, you start to figure out things. And as you get to one of the subsystems, a key reader beeps beside you, and it's asking for a authorization card.
I'm going to take the card that says Lab 1, I would assume, and just swipe it.
Okay, so you start swiping the card. It goes, level 1 access granted. Need level 2 access authorization as well. It's kind of like a dual kind of key system. So if one scientist authorizes it, another one has to agree with the decision before any system-wide decisions can get made.
Okay. Someone check the other dead bodies.
Carter has a +4 in sleight of hand, so I think he would be well suited for this. That's an 11.
Okay, so you start looking through the other scientists' bodies. You don't find anything. Yeah, you find a lot of fucking dead bodies. You don't find anything particularly interesting.
Anyone else going to try and find these?
I mean,
like
I'm still
another key card?
technically, I'm
Yeah.
still technically watching over the doctor and everything, right? So
Wait a minute, you're holding the doctor. Check if Hugh has any
oh yeah, I should probably do that.
access.
Allow me, Bob. Carter says, because
All right, I'm gonna hold him in front of me like you hold a baby. That you know when you
No,
check
you're
to see if it-
Simba. You're Simbaing him.
you're
well,
you're,
yeah, a
you're
little bit, but more
Rafiki,
like
he's
when you
Simba.
hold a baby to see if the diaper smells.
That's a 9 to search the comatose doctor.
Well, search and fondle is a very fine line. You do, however, find the key card, but you find some other surprises too, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. You do find the key card marked level 2. So you hand that to Saul. Saul's able to swipe it through the key reader. You now have complete access to the environmental controls and a complete readout of what is going on in the building. So you have access to environmental controls, door access controls, security. You have limited access to the feeds because most of the cameras are down.
Of course.
And you have access to stuff like what came through recently, who's on duty ship. Basically, you more or less have everything but the self-destruct.
Well, that's a positive. First things first, I'm going to drop the temps.
Okay, so you lower the temperature to probably what would be for our Canadian listeners, we deal mostly in Celsius up here. For our American listeners, this is Fahrenheit. So freezing is 0 degrees Celsius. In Fahrenheit, I think that's 32.
Yes.
So you drop the
which
temperature.
Still never made any sense.
Yeah, I don't get that either.
Well, like our water boils at 100. At least our scale is a 0 to 100 scale for most everyday uses.
Yeah, it's so weird. I don't get that. Okay, so Saul, you punch in the numbers, and it says environmental controls will take about 30 minutes to lower the temperature safely in each room.
Mm-hmm.
How long does it take? Dr. Bob asks, how long if you just make it go fast and just do it unsafely and lower the temperatures?
If you were to drop the temperatures rapidly, you have the possibility of damaging equipment, but you could realistically do it. If Saul wants to make another engineering check, I will allow it. But there's a risk of complete failure.
Yeah. I don't necessarily want to do that.
But is there a way we could have it as a failsafe that could you set it up with your programming skills? Could you set it so that it lowers it at a safe temperature now, but if let's say it doesn't lower fast enough in 30 minutes, it'll just boom, bring it right down to the lowest?
Yeah, if you want to roll that again, I will allow it, but the difficulty will be up.
Basically like a 2-tiered thing. Start lowering it slowly, but then really hammer that shit if we need to.
And that is a nat 20.
Then you succeed. So tell me exactly, Saul, what you want to have this 2-tiered temperature drop do.
So basically, I'm going to create a small little program that that will monitor the temperature. If the temperature doesn't reach it by a certain period, say the half-hour mark, it will automatically drop. It will automatically drop the temperature regardless of any safeguards.
So basically, you're giving us 30 minutes of pure safety, and then the rest is roll the dice, but we got to get it done.
Okay. All right. So you are able to accomplish that task. You write a little macro that acts like it's a person doing this. And you have approximately 30 minutes from when you hit the button.
It's probably Q basic, and it's just running like a loop where it's like, count to 5 million, and when it hits this number, do this.
Yeah, more or less. So
not to mention Saul is just like finger tapping all this.
It's not even like you figured they'd be using Unix or something. No, it's just you literally typed it in like DOS Q basic. So it's
a Unix system. I know
it's like 3 lines of code, but you're all proud of it anyway.
Yeah.
All right, Saul, is there anything else you wish to do with the computer system?
I want to see if there's any chance that it is detecting where the amoeba is.
You are detecting environmental fluctuations in Lab 3, and containment does seem to be not reporting any environmental readings at all. That could very well be that the sensors are just offline.
Or that the amoeba destroyed everything.
Or the amoeba destroyed everything. There are anomalies in Lab 1, but they're very minor temperature variations. You're detecting movement all over the base, just because you're able to tap into the security system. So basically, you know how floodlights work with the kind of motion sensors? You're seeing those go off all over the place, but you're not detecting any perimeter breaches yet.
Seems like there's something is scurrying around. Something or multiple things seem to be scurrying around. So we got to keep our heads on a swivel. As for our path to the mess hall, I'm assuming we're probably going to end up encountering one of these anomalies.
Judging, your most direct path is to go into Lab 1, take the external door, and you would literally probably be about 200-300 feet from the area. Basically, you would cross across the parkette that they've built for people to eat lunch outside if they want, and there's a covered walkway in case it rains. But you are wide open. There's you, and there's the jungle tree line, which is further back, and the motor pool is on the other side of the main laboratory entrance. You could see it, but you'd have to run around the building to get to it.
How fast can everyone run?
I think standard D&D is 30 feet around, so...
Yeah.
I think, don't we have it on our sheets?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's standard 30, though.
I have 6 meters, so
6 meters is the standard.
Yeah, that's what I have
in this game. Yeah,
even though I'm giant and I should be slower, I guess I have a longer stride.
Yeah.
That, or I could get real creepy and slither my way on like an alligator.
Yeah. So we are going to be booking it.
Sorry, but could you imagine how creepy would that be? Like, where's Dr. Bob? And I slither up. What's up, guys?
Like that snake from the fucking Jungle Book.
Yeah, pretty much.
What's up,
guys? And they're just like, you could do that? It's like, yeah, it's how I always come into the room. And you're like, what? When nobody looks, I just slither on in. I only walk on my people legs when everybody's around when they're looking, because they all kind of get creeped out.
Yeah, little known fact about Dr. Bob: he loves the movie Anaconda.
There we go. All right, so
he doesn't like Crocodile Hunter for some reason.
Crikey! Anyway, all right. So, what are you guys going to do next?
We're gonna attempt to book it to the cafeteria to get our chocolate on.
All right.
And then we're gonna go from there, because we need to stop this, and we need to first slow the infection down so that we have the time. We slowed down the amoeba. Now we got to slow down the infection.
I just realized I don't think any of us, including myself, has even checked Dr. Hugh if he's infected. Wait, he was bleeding regular blood before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's fine. I would come
presumably fine.
Presumably fine. I pulled a bullet out of him, and he didn't like get all plant person screamy on me or anything, so he passed out like a normal human would.
Mm-hmm.
And I would suggest leaving Dr. Hugh here for the.
Are you sure you want to leave Dr. Hugh in here? What if he starts mutating and then goes and attacks the other doctor? I'd rather take him with me, because if I have to knock him out again, I can knock him out again.
Fair.
All right. So your group, composed of all of you, including Hendricks and Matthews and the passed out Dr. Hugh, begin making your way through the main laboratory into Lab 1. You pass through that narrow metal hallway. You are noticing the temperature is already starting to drop, as you can notice forced air coming down out of the vents. Mm-hmm. And as you come into Lab 1, you see a very similar looking laboratory to the one that you came from previously, which is one of the experimental side labs off of the main one. So the main laboratory has a bunch of tables. It's got a bunch of testing equipment, but the place looks trashed. Like you can see what was probably a firefight at one point. You're noticing a couple of bodies, but some of them are half melted. It's like somebody poured acid on the bodies, and they're a mix between being fully there, but also partially stuck to the floor.
Is it like the dude in RoboCop?
Similar, yes, but these
the
look
blob.
like they're stuck to the floor.
Carter looks at Saul after seeing these bodies. He's like, "Sir, I've seen this movie. This isn't good."
Seems like the amoeba was here.
I'm going to grab a stick or some long thing and just sort of poke at it and see what happens at one of the bodies.
All right, so you grab a
for science.
medical probe. You grab one of the medical probes.
Just turn on. Anybody got a stick?
So you poke one of the bodies, and its lower jaw falls off to the floor, and this one eyeball just falls out of its head.
Dr. Bob turns to the rest of the people. In my medical opinion, this person is dead.
And Carter's on this movie. Thank God for medical degrees. Am I right?
I was gonna say, you know, I am a doctor, and I would like to say that in my medical opinion, this person has died.
All right. So as you poke the person with the proverbial stick, you start hearing thundering thuds against the outside wall. Just wham, 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 wham. And it's just steady. There doesn't seem to be any purpose to it, but you just hear something is hitting against the side of the laboratory. Since these places don't have any exterior windows, you don't know what's out there. But it's definitely coming from outside and not from the ceiling.
We better move, sir.
And I'm gonna say, I'm gonna ask: is the walkway that we want to go down, or the covered walkway, is that place where the whamming is coming from? Can we get a clear sight?
No. As you look across the lab, you do see a set of 3 or 4 stairs, which lead to another decontamination area, which does lead out to another hallway, which then leads outside to the covered walkway, which is mostly glass, that you can see everything on what's going on either side.
All right, we're gonna ignore that for a bit, because chances are, if it's still continuously doing that, it's gonna continue to do that while we go through the other side.
As you say that, you can hear Dr. Hugh start to moan as if he's starting to wake up.
The good doctor seems to be waking up.
He starts and he's starting to just kind of whispers, like, "Put me down." Are you going to do so, Dr. Bob?
Yeah, is there a table that I can just place him on?
Yep, you can place him on one of the examination tables.
I'm not completely meme. I'm just like, okay, dropping him. I'm going to put him on a table.
All right, so you set him down on the table. It looks like he's had a rough night, so to speak. And he just his eyes just start to focus and look around the room. And he's like, what happened?
Apologies, doctor. There was a mass confusion, and you were obviously shot, and you blacked out from the pain of removing said bullet. And the good news is Banks is dead. The bad news is Banks is dead. And in other good news, Dr. Kelly has found a way to not only slow the infections down, but also a way to cure it.
Oh, well, seems like a lot happened while I was not awake. Okay. Where's everybody else?
You're looking.
They're
at
all
everybody
kinds
else.
You're
dead.
looking at them.
Oh, he's shocked. He's like, oh God.
How does your hole feel? I gesture towards his arm.
It hurts a lot, but I can walk. So he kind of gets up from the table. He's a little unsteady on his feet. He's like, I can walk.
At this point, Doctor, I would suggest piggybacking off of the good Dr. Bob here while we attempt to head over to the mess hall to get the agent in which we are slowing the infections down.
Does anybody have rope? I'm assuming we do as part of our kit.
You would have your standard combat webbing. You wouldn't have enough rope to necessarily make a sling for him or anything. I don't know what your plan is.
I was thinking of basically tying him to my back like you would like
Yoda?
We're going C-3PO with this again.
Where he's facing the other side, but I've got basically wrapping some rope under his arms around my chest, so he's sort of just like on me. So he doesn't have to use
like an Alien Resurrection with that dude.
So he doesn't have to use his injured arm to hold on to me.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Well, we do have plenty of lab coats and such in this room, so
yeah, I guess we could make a makeshift baby harness for him to hold onto my back.
So,
he weighs probably about 150.
I weigh like 700-800 pounds. I'm a giant lizard man.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, you should be fine.
I was carrying him on my one shoulder for like an hour.
I might say if you get into combat, you would be at a disadvantage because he would throw off your weight.
It just means I can't turn my back to shield people anymore.
Yeah, pretty much.
well,
or I could, but it would shield me.
So yeah, if you wanted to do that, you probably could.
The reason I want that is I want both my hands free.
Okay, yeah. You could.
What's your survival, Alex?
Pardon me?
Well, I'm just thinking if we're scavenging the lab coats to improvise this whole
my survival's +6.
Oh yeah.
You know what? Give me a roll for that, Alex.
All right, 1 second. I'm just gonna see if there's anything else that would work with that.
Yeah.
Because you're not engineering anything with rope.
No, you're just basically doing wilderness survival, but you're having to use urban tech.
I have a +3 to athletics as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll go with survival on that one.
Yep.
So I will roll that bitch. Let's see here. 24.
Yeah, you are able to figure out a harness for him that is safe and holds him and both you fairly comfortably. He says, we need to get, if we can, there's a sample at Lab 3 we really should get our hands on if we can.
And also, this puts us at an advantage with him facing the other direction than me. He can see if people are walking up behind us.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So are we? We're in Lab 3, aren't we?
No, you're in Lab 1.
We're in Lab 1. Okay.
So he says there's a sample in Lab 3. If we get out of here, it needs to get back to SG Command.
Wait,
first thing.
Why would we be taking a potential biohazard sample back to SG Command?
That's a very
It's not
good
a
question,
biohazard
Dr.
sample.
Bob.
What kind of sample is it?
It is biological in nature, but it's something that we might be able to use against the Goa'uld.
I'm going to assume that all of us, except for me because I can't see his face, are staring at him with the "Are you kidding me?" face right now.
Oh no, Carter's giving him that face hard right now.
Part of the reason we were sent here is to look for pharmaceuticals. That part of your mission is definitely true. That's why we were sent here. But we found something that may attack the Goa'uld's nerve centers. It's some kind of a nerve agent that one of the sea creatures produces as a secretion. We've got a bunch of it. The sample itself is extremely safe, but it's kept in a temperature-controlled vault.
That's fair, Doctor. At the moment, we need to keep our priorities here. If we can, we will get that sample to SG Command. Right now, our main mission is to make sure that we are all safe to go back to SG Command.
He says, okay, all right, I'm good to go. I think, maybe.
Oh, wait, we're in
Sure.
lab 1. We can get the CO2 here.
No, that's in storage.
I thought that was...
Which is in completely opposite.
Oh, right. Sorry, I misunderstood what Mike said earlier.
All right, so you guys are headed towards the covered walkway?
Yep.
All right,
Heading to the mess.
All right, so you go down the stairs, you go through the set of pressurized doors, you go through decontamination protocols, and you look outside, and it's nighttime now. It's very heavily raining outside now. You can see flashes of lightning and thunder, colors you've never seen before. And just between the lightning flashes, you can see things walking back and forth out in the kind of courtyard. You can't quite see what they are at a distance, but they're definitely people-shaped.
Are they blocking our path?
No, because you're in the covered walkway, you can take that almost directly to mess.
As soon as these doors open, we're booking it to that mess.
As quietly as possible, I'm assuming.
Yeah, so
Yes.
Everybody, as things begin to go, you take your first steps outside. You go through the covered walkway, and you're starting to walk. You're being as quiet as you possibly can. Thunder is crackling and just shaking everything. It even rattles the glass on the ground, is how loud it is, because of just how volatile the atmosphere is. And as you get to the end of the walkway, you do see the mess hall. As the door there is another pressurized door which leads outside, but there's no power. You'd have to break the glass to get outside. And that is where we leave off for this part of Stargate TWIG, Tactical Weapons Integration Group. What is going to happen now that they have Dr. Hugh awake, strapped like C-3PO to the back of Dr. Bob? Everybody seems to be in good shape relatively. Unfortunately, 2 members of Fireteam Paladin have lost their lives to the strange contaminant that has escaped one of the labs, but things are looking up, all things considered. So we will continue next time here on ThisWeekInGeek.net. So coming from the planet of the Unos, we have been
Alex playing Dr. Bob.
And of course, the leader, the valiant commander of Stargate TWIG,
Ken Reel's playing Saul, and oh boy.
And of course, the guy who I'm pretty sure who in a previous life worked at Blockbuster,
JT from Saskatoon, playing Lieutenant Carter Hall.
And I've been Mike the Birdman saying, until next time, folks, Chevron's locked.